Welcome back to A Moment in History. I'm Seth Udinsky. In this moment in history, let's travel back to the 19th century and explore one of the most important figures in the American story. This man rose from slavery to freedom and eventually to national prominence as one of the first nationally known African-American statesmen in the country. He became a great leader in the fight for freedom and for fair treatment in the years surrounding the American Civil War. Let's explore the life and legacy of Frederick Douglass. Douglass was born into slavery under the name Frederick Bailey, likely in the year 1818 in Maryland. He bucked the trend of most slaves at this time and learned how to read and write at a young age. Now, Douglass suffered brutally at the hands of his masters, often getting whipped and beaten as a boy. After one failed attempt to escape his captors, he successfully fled in 1838 and changed his last name to Douglass. He also married his wife Anna in the same year. Now, in the 1840s, Douglass began writing and speaking out against the evils of racial slavery. He wrote his famous autobiography, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, in 1845. Twice in his life, he was forced to flee to a foreign country to avoid slave catchers, once in the 1840s and later right before the Civil War. Now, right before the war, he was incriminated to have fraternized with abolitionist John Bunyan. After Bunyan was caught, Douglass escaped to Canada and he returned shortly thereafter. During the Civil War, he served as a public supporter for black men to join the Union cause. He also encouraged his own sons to serve in the 54th Massachusetts Regiment, which they did. Towards the war's end, he worked closely with President Abraham Lincoln to formulate a plan to assist the newly liberated Southern blacks in the wake of an impending Union victory. Douglass spent the remainder of his life working for equal rights for the black community in Reconstruction. He was influential not only in gaining freedom for black Americans, but also giving them the legal right to vote with the passage of the 15th Amendment in 1870. Douglass continued as a prominent figure of civil rights in the twilight of his life. He wrote his final autobiography, The Life and Times of Frederick Douglass, in 1881. He died on February 20th, 1895, at the age of 77 in Washington, D.C. Thanks so much for joining me once again for A Moment in History.